Speaking test instructions. The speaking test is 20 minutes. There are 8 tasks in the speaking test. Please try your best to answer all the questions.
Start speaking now. Time is up. 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 Start speaking now. Time is up.
Lauren. Discovering that your partner has been lying about employment for 6 months represents a serious breach of trust that requires careful thought before making any decisions. Nevertheless, the situation deserves honest communication before jumping to conclusions about ending the relationship. First and foremost, understand that this deception likely stems from shame, fear, or embarrassment about job loss rather than malicious intent to harm you. Though this doesn't excuse the dishonesty. Furthermore, 6 months of daily lying indicates deeper issues beyond just the unemployment itself, including your partner's inability to be vulnerable with you during difficult times and potential concerns about how you would react to bad news. Additionally, this situation raises important questions about your relationship foundation. Whether your partner feels safe being honest about failures, whether you've created an environment where vulnerability is possible, and whether other aspects of your relationship might also involve deception. Moreover, confronting your partner is essential regardless of whether you ultimately stay together, as you deserve honest answers about what happened, why they lied, and what their plans are for addressing both the employment and trust issues. Although your instinct might be to end the relationship immediately due to betrayed trust, consider that many couples successfully rebuild after serious breaches when both partners commit to honest communication and addressing underlying problems consequently. I'd recommend having a direct conversation where you express your hurt about the deception while also listening to your partner's explanation and assessing their willingness to be accountable and rebuild trust. Additionally, couples counseling could help you both process this situation and determine whether the relationship has a foundation worth preserving. The key is making an informed decision based on your partner's response to being confronted rather than reacting immediately out of hurt and anger. Last year, my company implemented a new project management software system that replaced the familiar tools I had used successfully for 8 years. The transition was incredibly frustrating because the new system had completely different navigation, terminology, and workflows that made even simple tasks feel complicated and time-consuming. Furthermore, I prided myself on efficiency and competence, so struggling with basic functions that had previously been automatic felt embarrassing and demoralizing. Additionally, the implementation timeline was aggressive, requiring us to use the new system immediately without adequate training or transition period. The most frustrating aspect was that the old system had worked perfectly well for my needs, making the change feel unnecessary and disruptive. Initially, I resisted learning the new system properly, trying instead to find workarounds or continuing to use old methods wherever possible. However, this approach only created more problems when my workarounds caused integration issues with team members who had embraced the new system. To overcome my frustration, I made a deliberate mindset shift from viewing the new system as an obstacle to seeing it as a skill-building opportunity. Moreover, I dedicated specific time each day to systematically learning one new feature rather than trying to master everything at once, which made the learning process feel more manageable. I also reached out to a younger colleague who had adapted quickly and asked her to show me efficient workflows she had discovered. Consequently, within about 6 weeks, I had not only matched my previous efficiency but actually discovered features that improved my work processes beyond what the old system offered. Additionally, I learned to approach technology changes with curiosity rather than resistance, recognizing that my initial frustration often stems from discomfort with change rather than actual deficiencies in the new tools. This experience taught me that mastery requires patience, systematic learning, and willingness to ask for help rather than stubbornly clinging to familiar methods. This captivating illustration depicts a bustling train station platform during the evening rush hour, where commuters and travelers are navigating their journeys amid the organized chaos of urban transit. The scene is illuminated by overhead fluorescent lighting and the warm glow from the arriving train's headlights, creating dramatic shadows across the concrete platform. In the foreground, a business professional in a gray suit is checking his smartphone while balancing a briefcase and coffee cup, exemplifying the multitasking nature of modern commuters. Meanwhile, a young backpacker with colorful luggage is studying a large transit map mounted on a pillar, trying to determine the correct route to her destination. On the right side of the scene, a mother is holding hands with her two school-aged children, ensuring they stay close as they wait behind the yellow safety line that runs along the platform's edge. Additionally, an elderly gentleman seated on a wooden bench is reading a folded newspaper, seemingly unbothered by the surrounding commotion. The background reveals the sleek silver train pulling into the station, its doors preparing to open as passengers inside can be seen through the windows standing in, gathering their belongings. Furthermore, digital departure boards display scrolling information about upcoming trains, while station announcements echo through mounted speakers. What makes this urban scene particularly compelling is how it captures the daily rhythm of city life, where thousands of individuals from diverse backgrounds converge in shared public spaces, each pursuing their own destination while participating in the collective experience of mass transportation. Initially, the arriving train will come to a complete stop at the platform, whereas passengers waiting will position themselves near the doors in preparation for boarding. Subsequently, commuters inside the train will disembark first, while simultaneously, those on the platform will politely wait before entering to avoid congestion. Meanwhile, the businessman checking his phone will presumably board quickly to secure a seat for his commute. And consequently, the mother traveling with her young daughter will carefully guide the child and luggage onto the train. Furthermore, the elderly gentleman reading his newspaper will likely remain seated until his destination station is announced on the digital display above. Despite the rush hour crowd visible throughout the station, passengers will maintain orderly queuing and respectful behavior. Nevertheless, some individuals might need to let multiple trains pass before finding one with sufficient space. In addition, the transit map will help tourists and unfamiliar travelers navigate to their intended destinations efficiently. In conclusion, this modern subway system will continue operating smoothly throughout the day, transporting thousands of commuters, families, and travelers, thereby serving as the backbone of urban mobility and connecting diverse neighborhoods across this bustling metropolitan area. Monica, I understand your hesitation about providing the full loan amount to Jason for his business venture, but I believe declining financial assistance entirely represents the wrong approach that could seriously damage our relationship with our son. First and foremost, Jason has worked diligently to develop a comprehensive business plan, conducted market research, and demonstrated genuine commitment to this venture rather than pursuing it impulsively. Furthermore, providing the full loan amount shows that we believe in his abilities and trust his judgment, which could give him the confidence and resources needed to succeed in this entrepreneurial endeavor. Additionally, many successful business owners received initial support from family members who believed in their vision when traditional funding sources were unavailable, and our financial support could be the difference between Jason achieving his dreams and missing this opportunity. Moreover, we have the financial means to provide this loan without jeopardizing our retirement security or essential expenses, making this an investment in our son's future that we can reasonably afford. Although there's certainly risk involved in any business venture, consider that refusing to help might communicate lack of faith in Jason's capabilities and could create resentment that damages our parent-child relationship long-term. Consequently, providing the full amount with clear written agreements about repayment terms demonstrates both support and business-like accountability. Despite the partial support option seeming like a compromise, it essentially tells Jason we only half believe in his plan and forces him to seek funding from other sources that might have less favorable terms or dilute his ownership stake. Additionally, if the business succeeds, we'll have helped Jason achieve financial independence and entrepreneurial success. Whereas if we decline and he succeeds without our help, we may regret not being part of his journey. Don't you think supporting our son's carefully planned business venture is worth the financial risk? When we have the means to help. Richard, while I appreciate your desire to support Jason's entrepreneurial ambitions, I strongly believe that offering partial financial support represents the most balanced and responsible approach to his loan request. First and foremost, partial support demonstrates that we believe in Jason and want to help him succeed while also ensuring he has meaningful personal investment and skin in the game that will motivate careful business decisions. Furthermore, requiring Jason to secure additional funding from other sources provides valuable real-world experience in fundraising, pitching his business concept, and understanding whether professional investors find his plan viable and compelling. Additionally, if Jason cannot raise the remaining funds from banks, investors, or other family members, this might indicate that his business plan has weaknesses that we're not qualified to evaluate as parents without business expertise. Moreover, partial support protects a reasonable portion of our retirement savings from risk while still providing Jason with substantial help that acknowledges our faith in his abilities and commitment to his success. Although providing the full amount might seem more supportive, consider that many young entrepreneurs become more careful and strategic when they're risking their own money alongside family contributions rather than operating entirely with other people's capital. Consequently, this compromise approach teaches Jason important lessons about shared risk, financial responsibility, and the realities of business funding while maintaining our supportive role as parents. Despite the decline option protecting our finances completely, it sends the message that we don't believe in Jason at all, which could damage our relationship and his confidence. The full loan option, while generous, essentially makes us the sole investors in a venture we're not qualified to properly evaluate. Partial support strikes the right balance between parental encouragement and financial prudence. Don't you think this measured approach better serves both Jason's development and our financial security? Amanda, I need to talk with you about your request for me to be godparent to your new baby. And I hope you'll understand that this conversation comes from a place of love, even though what I have to say is difficult. First and foremost, I'm honored that you want me to play this important role in your child's life. And I want to be clear that my decision has nothing to do with how much I care about you or your family. Nevertheless, I need to honestly tell you that I cannot take on godparent responsibilities given our family's current financial situation and the substantial support we're already providing to your household. Furthermore, in our family tradition, being a godparent involves significant financial commitments for birthdays, holidays, education contributions, and emergency support that I simply cannot sustain for a fourth child while maintaining my own family's financial stability. Additionally, taking on this role would create obligations I might not be able to fulfill adequately, which wouldn't be fair to your child or to the spiritual and practical meaning of being a godparent. Moreover, I'm already helping your family considerably with the 3 children you have now. And spreading our support even thinner would mean providing less meaningful help to everyone rather than adequate support to fewer. Although I understand you may feel hurt by my refusal, please consider that saying yes when I genuinely cannot fulfill the responsibilities would be more disrespectful than being honest about my limitations. Consequently, I want to suggest alternative ways I can support you and celebrate this new baby that don't involve formal godparent commitments, such as being an involved aunt, helping with childcare occasionally, or contributing to specific needs when I'm financially able. Despite not being able to accept this particular honor, I love you and want to remain close to your growing family within boundaries that are sustainable for everyone. Would you be willing to discuss other meaningful ways I can be part of this baby's life that work better for my circumstances? James, I know you're frustrated about the financial support we already provide to Amanda's family and concerned about taking on additional godparent responsibilities. Nevertheless, I believe accepting this role is the right decision for reasons that extend beyond just financial calculations. First and foremost, Amanda is my sister and has very few people she can count on for family support, especially since our parents passed away and our other siblings live far away. Furthermore, while Amanda's decision to have a 4th child despite financial struggles may not be what we would choose, the baby is innocent and deserves to have loving extended family members committed to their well-being. Additionally, refusing to be godparent would create a permanent rift in my relationship with Amanda that could affect our entire family dynamic and potentially limit our contact with all 4 of her children, whom we love. Moreover, the godparent role in our family, while traditionally involving financial support, can be fulfilled in many ways, including emotional support, mentorship, and being present in the child's life rather than solely through monetary contributions. Although you're right that we already help Amanda financially, consider that declining this honor communicates judgment about her reproductive choices and suggests we value money more than family relationships. Consequently, we could accept the godparent role while having honest conversations with Amanda about the specific ways we can contribute that work within our budget, such as focusing on presence and guidance rather than expensive gifts. Despite the financial concerns being legitimate, the damage to family relationships and the message it sends about conditional love and support would be more costly in the long run. Additionally, we don't know what our own family might need from others someday. And modeling unconditional family support sets important examples for our children about loyalty and commitment. Don't you think maintaining family bonds and supporting an innocent child is worth finding creative ways to fulfill godparent duties within our means? Violent video games should not be banned or heavily restricted, as such policies would be ineffective, infringe on free expression, and ignore the complex relationship between media consumption and behavior. First and foremost, extensive research has failed to establish clear causal links between playing violent video games and committing real-world violent acts, with most studies showing at best weak correlations that don't account for numerous other factors influencing behavior. Furthermore, millions of people worldwide play violent video games without exhibiting aggressive behavior, suggesting that individual factors like mental health, family environment, and social circumstances are far more significant predictors of violence than media consumption. Additionally, violent content has existed in entertainment throughout human history, from ancient Greek tragedies to Shakespeare to action films, without causing societal collapse or creating generations of violent people. Moreover, attempting to ban or heavily restrict video games raises serious free speech and artistic expression concerns. potentially setting precedents for censoring other media forms based on subjective assessments of their potential harm. Nevertheless, I recognize legitimate concerns about age-appropriate content and believe existing rating systems should be better enforced to prevent young children from accessing mature-rated games designed for adults. Consequently, the solution lies in parental involvement, media literacy education, and teaching critical thinking about media consumption rather than blanket restrictions that treat all consumers as potential threats. Additionally, video games can provide positive benefits including problem-solving skills, hand-eye coordination, social connection, and stress relief that would be lost through overly restrictive policies. Many researchers suggest that the moral panic about violent video games reflects older generations' unfamiliarity with gaming culture rather than genuine evidence of harm. Therefore, rather than banning or restricting violent games, society benefits more from supporting parents in making informed decisions about their children's media consumption, improving mental health services, and addressing actual root causes of violence like poverty, trauma, and lack of opportunity that have far stronger connections to aggressive behavior than entertainment choices. Jennifer, I just found the most stunning mirror at the Home Design Expo that I think would be perfect for our bedroom. While exploring the modern furniture section with Robert, I discovered this absolutely extraordinary piece that's shaped like a massive peacock with its tail feathers fully spread. The frame is crafted from brushed brass or gold-colored metal, and each individual tail feather contains small mirror segments that create this incredible mosaic effect around the main central mirror. What makes this truly spectacular is how the peacock's head is positioned at the top with intricate detailing including gemstone-like eyes that actually catch and reflect light throughout the room. Furthermore, the tail feathers are arranged in layers, creating a three-dimensional effect that makes the entire piece appear to jump off the wall. Not only does it serve as a functional full-length mirror, but the craftsmanship is absolutely museum quality with hand-carved details and what appears to be semi-precious stones embedded throughout the design. Since the exhibition has strict rules against photography to protect the designer's intellectual property, I couldn't capture any images for you. Given how much you loved that Art Deco style we saw at the gallery last month and considering we've been looking for a statement piece for the bedroom, I immediately thought this peacock mirror would be absolutely perfect above our dresser. However, it's quite large and definitely makes a bold statement, so I wanted to get your opinion before even asking about the price. What do you think about incorporating something this dramatic into our bedroom decor?